Hey guys, SJ from IgnoreLimits.com here. Today I wanted to come at you guys with a quick book review of a book I recently read and implemented some of the training principles from, which is Paul Wade's Convict Conditioning. Basically, Convict Conditioning is a complete body weight training regime, guys. Paul Wade spent, I think it's a couple of decades basically altogether in prison, during which time he mastered body weight training and began to coach other prisoners and things like that. So this workout regime is comprised of not just bodyweight exercises, but basically old school calisthenics. So back in the early 1900s, basically all strongmen and things like that were doing hardcore calisthenics, like, handstand push-ups, one-arm handstand push-ups, things like that. And then around the 1950s was when the dumbbell and the barbell sort of rose to fame and took over. Unfortunately, since then, heaps of guys become, muscle bound, doing a lot more isolation type stuff. So they're not really, bodyweight training is all about the functional movement, natural movements, things like pull-ups, things like that, guys. So in this book, Coach Wade outlines the 6 major exercises. So like your pull-up, your push-up, your bridge, handstand push-up, hanging leg raise, and I believe there's one other. And basically goes into the progressions of each of those exercises. So each exercise has 10 steps, or 10 separate progressions. So for example, for the push-up, you start not even on the floor, so you start up against the wall doing like a wall press, and then eventually each exercise has a elite level. So for the push-up, it's the free one-arm push-up. Then you've got your one-arm handstand push-up, your completely straight-legged hanging leg raise, things like that. So complete photos working your way up, 10 different variations up to the top level for that. You get individual sort of points, how many reps you should be hitting on each variation before you move up to the next level. And basically these exercises, the big 6, are put together towards the end of the book in 5 different workout regimes. So there's a workout regime for beginners, if you only want to train 2 times per week. There's sort of the everyman type regime, which is 3 times per week. And then it goes a bit more advanced, so the 6-day per week regime, then a 7-day regime, and then just an endurance regime, which is, performing, I think, about 50 sets per day of the main exercise, which is it's called the solitary confinement regime. And yeah, all in all, I definitely recommend checking out the book. I've always included some body weight sort of functional training in my regimes, just because, you don't need any equipment for it, increases mobility, flexibility, things like that, prevents you getting muscle bound, guys. So, I mean, you're never going to have any issues, if you can consistently do pull-ups, consistently do, handstand push-ups, regular push-ups. You don't have to worry about doing pointless core exercises if you're regularly hitting those straight leg, hanging leg raises. So yeah, at the end of the day, you can't build, a massive Olympia size or, a massive physique, I would say, from bodyweight training. If that's not your goal, that's fine. It's great for functional strength. It'll get you there. But yeah, just bear in mind, you won't be able to build a huge physique solely from bodyweight training. I would recommend doing what I do in that case and mixing in, bodyweight training along with your weights. In the book, Paul Wade discusses implementing the convict conditioning regime for, basically anyone. So whether you're just looking to get in shape, you might be an Olympic powerlifter and you want to add some of this bodyweight training into your regime, he discusses that. You might be a bodybuilder looking to add that in. So this isn't a be-all, end-all regime. It is discussed at, just supplementing what you're currently doing with convict conditioning as well. So check out the book. I'll post a link to the written article on my blog, IgnoreLimits.com, below, as well as a link to pick up the book Convict Conditioning by Paul Wade. Thanks for watching, guys.